Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Marketing and Mindset. I'm your host, Matt Miller, and today we're going over an episode that addresses the following questions. Do you ever feel like you're getting so much done, but you just have so little to show for it? Or do you feel like you're checking off all the tasks, but you're not getting any fulfillment from those activities? Or do you feel like you're achieving a lot, but you're just not going in the direction that you know you need to go in? All of those questions, if you answered yes to, this episode's for you. This episode is also for anybody who's looking to feel less overwhelmed and feel more of a sense of purpose. And this episode revolves around the theme of getting clear so that we can move forward in the direction that we know we're supposed to move in. A couple of years ago, I started listening to the podcast Achieve Your Goals by Hal Elrod. And the reason that I started listening to this podcast was because I wanted the answers to the question, what do the most successful people in the world do on a daily basis? What are the activities that they do? What are the habits that they have? What is it that makes them so successful? And I started listening to this podcast, and it was all about goal achievement. It was something that resonated with me. And after I got acclimated with this podcast, I started researching different books to read. And the same author of the podcast, the Achieve Your Goals podcast, had a book. And the book was called The Miracle Morning by himself, Hal Elrod. And this book resonated with me because it answered that exact same question. What do the most successful people do on a daily basis? And I started reading the book, and it boiled down to 6 main points. And he called them the SAVERS. SAVERS. Silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and scribing. He talked about those 6 things. And what I did is I took what I learned from that book and started implementing that into my morning routine. I had a section that was for silence. Then I had a section where I'd write out my goals, and these are my affirmations. And then I'd also visualize what I expected to get done during that day. And then I also had certain activities set apart for exercise. I was doing push-ups and sit-ups. I was also reading, whether it was 10 minutes a day or an extended period of time. And then finally, I was doing the last thing, which is scribing or journaling. I was doing all 6 of those things, and then I started to see myself have more levels of success. And the biggest topic of the book was personal development. And something that I knew and that I figured out was that personal development precedes purpose. If you want to get super passionate about something and know where your direction is in life, you have to ask yourself the hard questions and try to understand where you want to go through personal development. So purpose precedes personal development. And I would consider Hal Elrod, the author of that book, one of my first mentors. It reminds me of driving to the gym today, and I started working out in the morning, and I listened to a podcast by Alex Hormozi, and he talked about the importance of mentorship. And something that resonated with me was when he spoke about mentors that he had, and that he got angry with some of them because whenever he finished with his current mentor and then he moved on to the next one, he felt like he realized how unknowledgeable that first mentor was because he surpassed him. And then when he's on that next mentor, he took what that mentor had and then ended up surpassing that mentor. And then he got to the third mentor, and that cycle kept continuing. But one thing he said that resonated with me was that the goal of the mentor should be to take the mentee and have them surpass the mentor. The goal should be to take that person and give them all the tools so that they do achieve more than the mentor. And if that was the case, that would mean that the mentor was successful because he gave the mentee everything that they needed to be successful to rise above them. It reminds me of another quote from Zig Ziglar, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but he says something along the lines of, if you help enough people get what they want in life, you'll get what you want. Because it's all about helping other people, and then in return, they're going to want to end up helping you. If you're able to help enough people get what they want in life, then you'll be able to get what you want in life. And then going back to the book, the one thing that it helped me with was getting super clear on what I wanted to do. And that's what gave me the clarity to start this podcast and to start presenting and to try to get better at public speaking. And in order to achieve that level of clarity, you need to follow what I like to call the hierarchy of clarity pyramid. And if you look at the pyramid, it's divided up into 3 sections. And on the very bottom section is environment. And this is the foundation of clarity. It's the foundation of this pyramid visual. And with that foundation, you really have to associate yourself with the people and with the things that are going to lead you to the path that you want to go down. It might be as simple as setting up your room in a conducive environment to learning, or it might be going in nature and associating yourself with stuff that brings you calmness and happiness. It also might mean dissociating from certain things or dissociating yourself from certain people. And this is where it can get hard, because as you move up, you're ultimately going to have to cut other things out of your life that are distracting. And if you think about it, if you want to become the best basketball player in the world, what you need to do is you need to surround yourself with the best coaches, with the best mentors, and with the best athletes all around basketball. The quickest way to get to the NBA is to change your environment so you're interacting with everybody on a daily basis that's already on that track or that's already gotten in the NBA. And then the second level of the pyramid is personal development. And I explained this earlier with the story of reading that book, which was The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And 6 categories that you can do on a daily basis that'll help you learn and that'll help you achieve personal development is the savers. SAVERS. Setting aside some time for silence, time for affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and scribing. And there's a quote by Jim Rohn, and he says, "Your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development, because who you become is ultimately what you're going to attract." And lastly, on the tip of the pyramid is purpose. And what purpose is knowing what direction you want to go in. And when you're able to find your purpose, you have such a deep passion and you have such direction that it ultimately leads to clarity. And as you move up this pyramid from environment to personal development to purpose, as you move up, you're going to get more clear about what you really want. And ultimately, clarity prevails when purpose, personal development, and environment perfectly align. Clarity prevails when purpose, personal development, and environment perfectly align. I encourage everybody to have some kind of morning routine where they can implement some of the savers. SAVERS, silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, or scribing. If you can do even one of those 6 things, you're going to notice that your morning is going to get off to a better start. And then to wrap it all up, you want to follow the hierarchy of clarity pyramid, starting at the bottom with environment, changing your environment, and then in the middle section, personal development, increasing your personal development, and then at the top, purpose, seeking purpose. And if our environment, our personal development, and our purpose all align with each other, that's when we achieve clarity. And then a couple quotes, one from Zig Ziglar: "You can have everything in life you want if you are just willing to help other people get what they want." And then a quote from Jim Rohn: "Your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development, because success is what we attract by the person we become." Thank you guys for listening to this episode, and we'll be back with another one shortly.